All right. Welcome back to Studio Talk. We're going to speak about the JPL. People have been having issues with the JPL. The JPL seems to be in a bit of disarray right now, punishing clubs, having low turnout to the games, the quality being very low. A couple of issues that we have. A couple people have them also. And we're going to speak about how we think the JPL or what the JPL should do, to become a better league. Joe Mar have a little beef or go on, it's a beering beef. So, you want to talk about it. What's the beef for the JPL, bro?
I have no beef with the JPL. People have this misconstrued that Joe Man from this or that sports team absolutely hates the JPL. No, that's not the case. And I believe that the JPL is something that we should take pride in. It's something that we should work hard at to improve. And it's something that I really want to see be better for the betterment of Jamaican football. But I still maintain the fact that players playing at the JPL level aren't good enough to be playing for a national team because our national team is indeed an international team, if you understand what I'm trying to say. And we possess talent that plies their trades in the highest leagues all over the world. So that's my only gripe with the JPL. I don't believe that players in JPL are qualified to play international football for us, but I do love the JPL. I love what it stands for, or I love what it can be. Don't necessarily love what it is right now, and this is why I consulted with a few people. I went deep into the brain box, and I had just a little idea that I think if JFF works hard to incorporate this, it would definitely improve the JPL.
All right. I mentioned a couple issues a while ago. First of all, before we talk about the solutions, we have to talk about the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people, we don't love the JPL. We don't love the football that we're watching. I think the football fans in Jamaica are about the schoolboy football, the back end of the schoolboy football season, and international football. I think that's what they love. The JPL is not necessarily the thing that everybody, right for. And let's talk about a couple of the problems. What are some of the things that you see that's wrong with the JPL at the moment?
Well, first and foremost, there's been a rebranding of the JPL this season, and I think the people who are running it now, Owen Hill, somebody who's big in marketing for the JPL, somebody we'd really love to have on an episode of Studio Talk, by the way. I think he has very good ideas. I think they've stepped up their marketing, and I think they have made steps in the right direction. However, the JPL is predominantly focused on old people, and I don't like that. And I think the reason for this is because of the interference with schoolboy football. I think, and we see the teams that decide to go younger are often more successful. And I think that's where this league should be predominantly focused on developing the youth. I don't think it's about youth development. I don't think we're at the quality, both economically and in terms of the quality that's available to us, for teams to be focused on, oh, let's just try and win, and neglect youth. And then again, the youth talent in Jamaica are some of the best talent, period, regardless of age. And we see all over the world where the younger players are dominating, at the highest level. We see where Saka and Odegaard and Martinelli, so on and so forth. These players are all young players, and they're all at the top of their game right now. Erling Haaland, so on and so forth. So I think there needs to be a greater emphasis placed on youth. Besides that, to be honest, I think the coaching has definitely improved. It can do with improvement, but I see that they have placed an emphasis on getting better coaches into the program. People always complain about the surfaces that the football is being played on. I like the way that what the JPL has done is monopolize the games and just assign home games and away games to teams, but only allowing them to play these games at set facilities. I think that's good for improving the league. So I think it has been more funded now than it has been in a while. I definitely believe that they're taking strides in the right direction, but I think the lack of emphasis on youth in the JPL, I think that's the biggest problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, lack of youth is an issue. Teams have been making an effort to make certain teams have been making an effort to make their team a bit younger. But in terms of the general league, it's not a young league.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with the JPL is the entertainment factor. Sports, one of the biggest things about sports. Yes, it provides a living for a lot of people, but it's entertainment. A lot of people watch football to enjoy themselves, go to game to enjoy themselves. And the more entertaining the games are, the more people you will pull out, the more support the league will get, and the more successful it will be. Now, a lot of people will say, how can the heads of the JPL affect the competitiveness and the entertainment factor of the league. It's going to be hard, but as you said, make the league younger, improve the star power of the league. If you make it younger, because the stars coming out of schoolboy football can play directly there. We are going to get into that a bit more, but I feel like the entertainment factor is what is really causing the league not to take off. Because we see, the rebranding is wonderful, bro. Watching the games on Sportsmax do a very good coverage of the games, so you can watch it. The fields, Arnett is a good field. In terms of, if we talk about Jamaican fields, Arnett is a good field. Stadium East is a good field. JC is a good field. I've seen some games playing at JC in the grand scheme of things. They're not great fields in terms of world standard, but in Jamaica, there are some of the better fields.
Jack's Hall, good field.
Jack's Hall is a good field. So decent fields all around. They are improving how it looks. Now, the entertainment factor is not quite there. I've been watching some of the games and I'm falling asleep. I'm telling you, the quality is so low. So let's start with some of the things that you would want to change. If you were in charge of the JPL, what would you do? What's the memorandum? What's the agenda?
The moves that I would want to implement, I would not be able to implement being in charge of the JPL. So you'd have to give me a higher position.
Well, you want to be from the JFF standpoint?
You put me in charge of the JFF.
Go on then.
All right. So being the JFF, controlling all football activities. My first move, and this would be an unpopular one to start with, but I think ultimately it would benefit Jamaican football on a whole. I would make the highest possible or the most senior competition in schoolwide football, the Manning Cup, be reduced from an under 19 competition to an under 17 competition. So Manning Cup would no longer be under 19 and 18 and 19 year olds would no longer be eligible to play schoolboy football. That's the first move I'd make. So I'd have two competitions in schoolboy football, which would be the under 15 competition or the under 14 competition and the under 17 competition. That's all there would be. There wouldn't be any more Manning Cup, right? This would mean that players who attend sixth form would be solely for academic purposes, and if you want to play football at any level, then you go and play for a club. Now, because of this, what I would do is also implement a Premier League B, or like an under 23 competition that isn't as notarized, that isn't incentivized. Winning isn't incentivized in the B League any at all. So teams wouldn't be forcing the younger players to play in there just to win. So winning would not be incentivized any at all. Those games would be played. Those games would probably be played right before the Premier League games, on that particular day. So that wouldn't necessarily impact costs of running the league. The only thing that you'd worry about is probably an additional team of referees. And then this could also be a way to train the referees in the Jamaican Refereeing Association. So the young referees who need practice and so on and so forth, they could ref the appetizer, as one would say, right? The Premier League B games, where we'd have the teams, the teams that are in the league, they feel their B team. So as I said, there's no incentive for winning, or there's no consequence for losing. So once you're in the Premier League, so say you have 14 teams in the Premier League, once you're in the Premier League, your B team will be in the Premier League. Your B team cannot be relegated. You get me? I say your B team cannot be promoted. Yes, they can win, but there's no incentives for winning.
So it's strictly, that is more of a developmental league than anything?
That is so that the boys who would be playing in the Manning Cup and can't make a Premier League team, right? So yeah, some people at the under 19 level, would have wanted to play Manning Cup, but they couldn't play Manning Cup. So you can't make a Manning Cup team, so you can play with the B teams. And the B teams would also serve as, rehabilitation games for players on the senior team that would just be coming back from injury. They could go and play with the B team. What you say?
What about, I understand making Manning Cup now an under 17 competition, making it younger, so that the older players, because really and truly, 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds around the world are not playing. The good ones are not playing high school football. Yeah. So I understand that and I agree with that point. But what about giving a quota to the schools to say you can use no more than 3 players over 17 in your Manning Cup competition, and those would be the players that can't make a Premier League team, if you understand what I'm saying?
No, but then those wouldn't be the players who can't make a Premier League team. Those would be the 3 best players under 19 that would be from that school.
No, but remember, you have to improve the JPL, and you have to make the JPL the thing that they want to play. They no longer want to play an under 17 competition, if you understand what I'm saying. So JPL will now be the thing. because you eliminate the under 19 competition. And remember, the top talents under 19 are not playing high school football. So that's
Yeah,
what I say. Instead, because the League B, yes, you make it sound easy when they say, oh, there wouldn't be, a lot of things going into running a separate league, but there would, especially running it simultaneously with the JPL.
that's why there wouldn't be much going into it. Because
There, I honestly believe there would. You talk about cost of transportation for one more team. You talk about another training session, additional coaches. I want people going on. So I say, instead of doing that, what about giving the schools a quota? Just an idea. Because I don't mind the JPL being, but I do think that it will take more revenue.
as I said, there has to be a Premier League B. We see in other competitions where they have the under 21, so on and so forth, where like a player who is 35 may well find himself playing in the under 21s for a couple of days. If he's just recovering from injury, so on and so forth. But the difference in England is that an under 21 team can be playing in the Championship, while their associate senior team can play in the Premier League. I would say there's no relegation for the same exact fixtures. So like if today the Chapelton Maroons are playing Arnett Gardens, then the Chapelton Maroons B are playing Arnett Gardens. The only difference would be on the league table, right? And then there'd be no relegation or anything like that. You understand what I say?
Yeah, so, I understand. The only issue there is just, I honestly believe there would be a issue with the cost or the revenue to run that separate league, because more things are going on, man. But I understand that if you can manage that, then why not? If money is not the problem, then it's a good idea.
How much money is being pumped into Manning Cup? And I believe that schoolboy football, especially at the highest level, would be more expensive to run. It's more expensive to run than that competition that I just spoke about.
Manning Cup is still there, and this is a separate competition.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be as cost effective. It wouldn't be as cost intensive.
Because the Manning Cup is just the course.
It would just be like course. That's all. It would simply just be run like course. I would take the emphasis off schoolboy football. You know what this would lead to? This would allow schoolboy football to be more focused on development. You get me, I say? And then at 16, you play your last year at schoolboy football. You can call it anything you want to call it. You can still call it Manning Cup for all I care. And you graduate. Let's face it, sixth form. Not many of these students would have gone to sixth form had it not been for football. Let's be completely real. And sixth form is not that important for one's holistic development. Let's also make that clear. I think 2 of our most wasted years in terms of life were in sixth form, considering that we didn't take sports to the next level. Sixth form is literally only useful if you want to be a doctor or you want to be an athlete, and that's in the Jamaican sense. You get me? I say sixth form is not really that useful, to be honest. So this would deter a lot of people from going to sixth form, and the people who really do go to sixth form are the people who would absolutely need to go to sixth form. Now at 16 years old, 17 years old, you have CSEC, you have your subject them. You chase your dream of being a professional footballer at this point. You get me? I say, and if you want to go university, then you don't have to go sixth form. You can literally leave from grade 11 and go university in America. So you just do your SATs in grade 11, so on and so forth. So that would be something else. I would also allow, CONCACAF rules would inhibit this, but the five amateur situation, we'd have to find a way around that.
It couldn't be a professional league then.
Yeah, we'd have to find a way around that because there are a lot of these kids that leave the Manning Cup that don't want to sign professionally because they would play in college. And I'm saying maybe those are the ones who would also get to play in the B competition. The ones that want to go to college, you get me, I say? If you're not good enough to be in the 5, then you play with that team's B team while you finish your sixth form or you finish your SATs, then you go off to university. You get me, I say? So that's my I think cutting out Manning Cup, allowing these 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds to be playing, because I genuinely believe that many players who play Manning Cup and Lancaster Cup would have been playing in the JPL from the very get-go, had it not been for the Manning Cup. And let's just face it, some of these players are some of the best players that we have. And imagine the development that it would do for these players playing against grown men at 17 and 18 for a whole season, rather than just playing the back end of the season and wasting 4 or 5 months of them career playing against schoolboys. Imagine how much more development that would bring for the kids.
Yeah, I understand it. I'm just trying to find. Not even trying to find. I'm thinking some of the things that will go against that they are coming up in mind. So if you talk about I understand making the league younger. I understand cutting out the Manning Cup and now making the best 18 and 19-year-olds play in a professional setup. I understand that.
Yeah.
No, that would force a kid to make a decision at 17 years old or at 18 years old, which, to be fair, around the world, that is the time that you make the decision anyways. So it's either you have to sign this contract and become a professional footballer, or you don't want to sign a contract and you want to be a pro, and you're going to do the B League or whatever. You understand? So that's forcing students or kids to make decision about football a bit earlier than now when you have a free.
Why the B League would provision an extra year or two.
Yeah.
That B League would allow a kid not to make a decision at 17 or 18. It would allow him a couple of years. You get me? I realize we never say an age group competition, we say a B competition. So we still have the best players playing for their teams. It's just that it don't matter them age.
Yeah.
So Shotgun Satchel is and the reason why I wouldn't incentivize the second league is I wouldn't make it, as good. The production value wouldn't be as high. I wouldn't spend as much money on it. And also I don't want teams to be like bad Premier League teams. I don't want them to be putting their young star players in that B League, in that youth league per se, just to win it because they have the best youth talent, but not good enough to win. So you gain nothing from winning that competition. It's absolutely so not even a trophy. Not even a trophy you get for winning that competition.
Another thing. Because people are going to say them things in the comment section, so I have to say them on the show. When those kids come out at school at 19 and 18 years old, and yes, you want to make the league younger, right? Remember, that's the whole point of this, to improve the league and make it younger. What happens?
Not only younger, better, like the best.
I understand.
It's not only younger. Yes, more make it younger, but some of the best players that the JPL could have at their aren't playing
schoolboy football. I understand.
Regardless of their age.
Yeah, and then what happens when those players know don't get a move outside of the country and they are now 28, they are now 29, they are now 30 years old? You can still find yourself in the same predicament that we're in right now. With a lot of the standouts from schoolboy football. A lot of the schoolboy football players are still in the league in their high 20s because they just didn't get the move outside. Are you going to have a cap to say, yo, we can't have more than this amount of players under 27 or under 30 years old? How will you manage that to make sure that
this amount of players over the age? I mean,
over the age, yeah. So most of the team have to be young.
To be honest, if you are putting a professional,
you cut the Manning Cup,
Yeah,
you cut the Manning Cup.
Exactly. So
you have to make sure they are play JPL.
Yes, so we're gonna stop them from playing JPL.
If the man them were just 5 years ago, they transitioned out of schoolboy football from 17 years old, and they are now 23 and going up there. 24, 25, 26, 27. They are still in the league. So that is taking up a space that a youth will just come out of under 17 from high school football.
You realize my whole aim was not you are thinking that my first priority is to make the league younger. That's not my first priority. My first priority is to have the best talent playing in the competition for 9 months of the year at any given time. Right? And I think a byproduct of that would make the league younger because I genuinely do believe that the younger players are better. You get me, I say? So as football progresses and as these young players leave from Colts and they're fresh and ready to go, I think they'll consistently walk into these teams and knock some of those players who fail to work hard and to progress at a level, knock them out of the first team and knock them to the B team, so on and so forth. So my priority is not necessarily making the league younger, but I think doing this would make the league younger by default. But my priority is just having the best quality playing in JPL and having more kids playing at a professional setup from younger, giving them more of an opportunity to be seen in a professional sense. So a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old is more likely to get picked up by an international club than a 20-year-old just coming out of the Manning Cup. You get me? I try to say? I always say if players aren't playing in JPL by 19, if they aren't playing professional by 19, it's looking like Division 1. Right, that's where it's at. So you get 17 and 18 in the JPL, and now you can get moved at 18 rather than getting 19 and 20 in the JPL and teams not being as interested. You get me? I say 21 and 22 in the JPL and teams not being as interested. So these young players would filter out. They probably play a year or two in the JPL, impress in the JPL, get their move overseas rather than playing in the Manning Cup and not being looked at. Because let's face it, nobody, like you hear scouts say it. Yes, outstanding player, but it's against schoolboys. Me and you know that when these schoolboys are outstanding, play against grown men, they'll dominate just the same. But the scouts aren't going to take our words for it,
And they
right?
don't know that.
Yeah, so this would give the kids an opportunity to be playing in that competition from 17 and 18. You know, you see where you can't in England, you can't be signed as an academy player after 18 years old. Right? So a lot of these clubs would love to sign, like for example, Derek Zimenez was signed as an academy player because of his age. A lot of these clubs would love to sign some of these young players as academy players, but they can't get them the academy work permit, so on and so forth. So them have to sign a professional contract, but they're just not yet good enough to be given a professional contract. So what happens is that the club just overlooks them.
Yeah.
You know what I say? So that's really something that bothers you. So a player coming out at Manning Cup at 19, academy outright fee. So you just have to be good enough to be in the pros. As compared to, for example, a person who is in the academy setup, right? Playing the academy for like 9 months, graduates from the academy, is now a free agent within the same country, within the football, having a couple of months to get a new team, to get a new contract. Rather than just being here and not being eligible for academy, some just not gonna bring it over. Put in an academy system, not because they're already 19. Get some of these 17-year-olds to stop playing the schoolboy football, to be working with adults year in, year out. You get me? I say, get them 2 years playing in a semi-professional slash professional type setting. Make them into professional footballers and not students.
Yeah, as I say, I like the idea because ultimately it makes them make a decision. You have to make a decision. You can't just string along football, string along school. At the end of the day, you're out of school, you're out of football, and you fall flat. You don't know where you stand because you're not
Yep.
good enough to make it as a professional footballer, but you didn't take school serious enough. At
Mm.
17 years old, at 18 years old, which is the age, by the way, that all the around the world, this is the
Before
age that they make a decision.
18, this is 16 and 17.
16 and 17, but the competition is an under 17 competition in school. So may I say, outside of that, you are now 17 touching 18. That would be the age that you would have to make a decision around the world. Anyways, you understand? Because as I say, you can't sign an academic contract over 18. So
Yeah.
around that age will be when you have to make the decision. We are putting that decision on the kids now to say, yo, football is where you are pre. You're good enough to make a professional football team? No? All right, you're going to make the B team. I have to do your classes same way or work to go to college or whatever.
And you
Yeah,
make
that's
the B team and you work hard for your game and you make it in the JPL. And
Mhm.
you get me and the JPL would, because of this, the quality of JPL would improve. The JPL can, because the JPL would probably be better for this, because some of the attention from schoolboy football would probably now go over to the JPL. You get me? I say the JPL could probably now be a destination for some of these kids who can't make it professional. They work hard in the B League to sign with a JPL team. Now you can be making, because I can tell you that there are players in the JPL making $200,000 a month. There are players in the JPL. Mount Pleasant pays their players very well. Harborview pays their players very well. There are players in the JPL that are compensated well. So if we can get more fan support, if we can get more patronism for this competition, people in the B competition who decide that they want to take football serious but they're not good enough, they work their butts off in this competition, and you get a pro contract with a JPL team, and you work hard and do it that way. You get me? I say.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact that this will not go over well with some of the schools because I can tell you some of the schools take their football very serious and some of these alumni, they are not going to enjoy us saying cut out football.
I'm not saying that.
Cut out the Manning Cup.
Then what they need to do is just place a bigger emphasis on what is high school football, because high school ends at grade 11, dude. You get me? I say? So focus on the 15 and 16-year-olds in high school. You pump all the resources into the course program. And you know what that would allow rather than because what these people do, them pump them resources into the Manning Cup program. So I'm gonna make the Manning Cup play Stadium East rather than playing at North Street. Right? I'm gonna make the Manning Cup get this type of boots. I'm gonna make the Manning Cup people get GPS vests, so on and so forth. This all the alumni, The coach teams aren't exposed to these kind of resources, no. So now what you are doing is giving 17 and 18-year-olds these resources for the first times in their life. You get me? I say? Imagine what would happen if now the 17 and 18-year-olds are no longer under your control. They're now under the jurisdiction of their clubs, who are supposed to be giving them these resources. What would you do in order to make your team stand out above the other teams? Now your coach team, I go play a Stadium East. Now your coach team, I go have the GPS vest. And what would that mean? development of the players from a younger age. You get me, I say? So now the 14 and 15-year-olds will be getting all the attention that the 17, 18 and 19-year-olds will be getting. So that would now accelerate the development of football if we make the under 17 competition the primary focus rather than the under 19 competition.
Yeah, you know what the truth is right now? Majority, I can say majority, because schoolboy football is not just the top 4.
Yeah.
The majority of schoolboy football players right now are not playing football again until May. You think about it, because you have a lot of schools at the bottom. Yes, you have the really good schools at the top, the KC, the JC, the Mona, the Stats, that they are going to start their Manning Cup preparation from March. You get me, I say? But the schools at the bottom, that are a lot of the schools that drop out in the first round, the schools that don't make it past the second round, a lot of those kids are not playing right now. They're not in a setup right now, and even if they are, they're in a low level setup. You get me? I say them not get exposed to the coaching that they should be getting. Them not get developed properly. Their progress is not, it's not a straight line. It's not a path. It's not a straight path. Right now, I think they're falling off the developmental process that they should be continuing from schoolboy football. You know me? So all those players from Tivoli Gardens High and from Haile Selassie and from Jose Marti and from Edith Dalton James and Papine, where are they? What are they doing now?
Tivoli Gardens and Haile Selassie, bro, they have their players that are currently playing in and around the JPL teams as well.
How many players are playing in the JPL, bro?
The ones that are good enough, we know so them good enough already. Like who cares? The rest of them don't need to play football in grade 12 and grade 13. If the schools themselves want a matter of fact, them can play interfarm and play interblock. You get me?
Yes, I said the Manning Cup players, the 17 and 18-year-old players, until you fade out, you can't be playing football for 2 months out of the year. You just can't. You get me? I say, and then some of them just gonna fall off. Even the ones that have the talent and could possibly, have that spirit at 18 years old.
Yeah.
You're just not gonna see it because they play football for 2 months out of the year.
Exactly.
So we don't love it. But as I said, the really good ones.
You have a lot of people from those set schools who are just going to go to sixth form to play Manning Cup again. Don't go sixth form, go play Manning Cup, go on Arnett B. You get me? I say, and play football there, and then try make it into Arnett's first team.
Yeah.
So I think, and then as I said, know that Manning Cup not dead if you eat up the resources and the players where Issa and the old boys put into it. The alumni can pump it into codes. And now these are 14 and 15-year-olds that are getting the same treatment that the Manning Cup. So imagine the under 16 teams or the under 17 teams. That's what I would put it. Give them like an extra year to play in grade 11. So the under 17 teams are getting the GPS vest and getting the full camp in the holidays. You get me, I say, and getting the treatment that the Manning Cup team would be getting. Don't you think that would be better served for 14 and 15-year-olds? Don't you think that's how our 14 and 15-year-olds should be treated in Jamaica? And that should not be reserved for 17 and 18-year-olds? And yeah, the 17 and 18-year-olds should be getting that. But when them go play for Arnett, they might play year round and they might get that. You get me? I say they might get them meals a day. They might get them GPS tracker, them GPS vests and so on and so forth. So make the youth them, make the under 17 kids them get that.
Yeah. 30 minutes on that topic. Good conversation though, and I'm sure we'll visit it again. People probably got mad about this topic because yes, some people love them JPS, some people love them Arnett Gardens as they know it right now. Jumbies love them clubs. Some people love them Harbourview as they know it right now, and them Cavaliers as they know it. But people want to get football.
The clubs wouldn't change. I'm not saying change anything about the clubs.
So I think them love them football, love them know it, and we are saying, shake it up. Shake it up. Some people love them Manning Cup. Some people love them Manning Cup.
JFF used to have an under 23 competition now, which them scrapped because it was madness. Because people would have take them young players and play them in an under 23 competition for win that. You get me? So the way that was formulated was idiocracy. You get me? I say? So I would reshape that, but it wouldn't change up the I could say so many things because I have so many plans to franchise the JPL and sell so on and so forth for another day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying where the problem is cut out the Manning Cup and replace the Manning Cup with a B competition for the clubs. You get me?
And who would be mad? What I should have said is who would be mad is the supporters of the schools and the old boys of the schools, that dominate the Manning Cup.
And them would only be mad if them are idiot. Because at the end of the day, the only difference, like it's just 2 years removed. So imagine the Manning Cup. Imagine the Manning Cup was under 21 before. I'm just saying, and it moves to under 19. Say it's under 19 and it moves to under 17. What's the difference? What changes? Now, instead of having your best 19-year-old player, where going to be the star man where you focus on, it's going to be your best 17-year-old player, your best 16-year-old player. What's the difference? You get me? I say, you still can beat, as a KC man, you still can beat up JC in the Manning Cup finals. It's only said the Manning Cup are going to be under 17. You get me? I say, when you still can go full stadium and go watch the Manning Cup finals, the only difference is the age group that's going to be playing. And think about it, Deshaun Richards at 16 would still be a ridiculous Manning Cup player.
Yeah, that's what I said. The standouts in the schoolboy football right now, there are some young talents. But people, this is what we have to say. What's going on in the JPL, you know? You might want to change some things. People, let us know. What are your opinions on this? Talk to us in the
football, we make full butters off, you know?
Yeah, and imagine how we have said it. So people, we want to see football in Jamaica improve. It's not about schoolboy football. It's not even about the JPL competition. It's about the football inside of the country and the best way to move forward with that. So let us know, what are your thoughts in the comment section. We're going to move on and have some keeping up with the reggae boys. You know, if we talk about reggae boys and our reggae girls, they have a big month coming up. So people, stay tuned. The next segment of Studio Talk after this.